Today I'm staying in a space capsule hostel in the middle of Berlin, and I'm gonna attempt to make a game in here because it's cold and raining outside, and it'll be cool to make a game in space. But I don't want to spend my entire vacation in these tiny four walls, so I'm gonna make a simple game where you are a spaceship and you have to avoid the asteroids and the space capsules and get the highest score. And I'll be using Godot, I don't know, to practice using the engine more. So I started off by making a character using ChatGPT since it can now generate images, and I fixed it up in Photoshop. Now for some actual challenge, we had to make it move, which actually wasn't so difficult because all we have to do is change the velocity over time, and Godot has some built-in functions in its character body 2D node. If we put that on our scene, we can see the character move, but obviously we want the screen to follow the character, so we can add a camera as the child of the player, and it will automatically start to follow the player. Okay, so we have simple player movement and I have a camera on my player, but we can't really tell that the player is moving because there's no reference point, aka a background or other enemies. So now it's time to add that. I searched for some on OpenGameArt and I put it as the background to the character, but well, it obviously doesn't work. We need to make it look like it has a parallax effect. And I found this tutorial that showed me how to use a shader to change the tile offset over time. Now we just have to match the speed of the offset of the background to the speed of the player, but the player still goes off of the map because the player is actually moving while the background is staying still. So we can make another script to basically follow the X position of the player, and voila! That was pretty easy. So I just realized there's no socket to charge my laptop in this room, and I searched around for a bit and I found one outside, which is a shared one, but I don't really want to have my door open while I'm developing, so I'm gonna have to speedrun this. Now it's time to spawn some obstacles, and for those I also generated it in ChatGPT, and I gave them their own scenes, which in Godot basically everything is a scene or a node. It is kind of confusing at first. And then I placed a spawner on the map using the timer node. I spawned the obstacle right outside of the map, so when the player gets near it, it has to dodge it in order to avoid being blown up. Then I added some random rotations to the obstacle just so the map could feel more lively. Oh, I just realized that my battery's running out. So let's finish this up quickly. With the character body 2D, you can easily check for collisions after you call move and slide, which is the built-in function you use to move. And with that, I was able to tell when I collided with an asteroid. And when I do collide with an asteroid, I want a cool particle effect. So I followed this tutorial and I was able to get an okay-ish explosion that spawns right after the player collides with the obstacle and then makes the sprite of the player disappear. And for the final touch, I added another particle effect right behind the rocket so it can have some thrusters and look really cool. And with that, our game was done. Amazing gameplay. Obviously, there's a lot I can add to it, such as putting borders on the top and the bottom, making the particle effects better, adding sound effects, but my laptop is literally at 5%. Overall, it was an okay experience to develop in a space capsule. I mean, I can't really rest my back against anything, so my shoulder was kind of hurting after a while, but I do like that I have my own little space and it does feel cozy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's time to launch off.